Hey YouTube, how you doing? It's Max. This is another update video for the game. I think we're on like around episode 30 or something, so we're making good progress. Um, so yeah, last time I think I was talking about how I was making all these wind temple altars. In this these wind temple, water temple, all these elemental temples, the crystal plane, all this stuff. I did make a nature temple. Um, and a couple routes actually. So now, if you look at the map, I guess there's I probably should have pulled up a map. Anyway, if you've seen this before, there's like Thylanus, which is the furthest west town. I made this route that kind of goes from this jungle. So this is west of Thylanus. There's like a new path that I opened up here, and it's pretty much just this maze. And then there is this other kind of area where there's a pool. This was very base, not very well fleshed out. But there's like a temple here. If you were to keep going to the east, it would end up right here. So this kind of route that's right next to Halloween. But yeah, going down here, there's kind of more beach area now, and that further kind of connects over to here, which further connects over to Port Pawnee, which is south of Halloween, which I still haven't fleshed out a bit, but kind of some updates there. The main things I wanted to talk about were these enemies. So previously, I had all my assets kind of lined up, and I wasn't using a whole lot of them. So I organized this a little bit. It's not perfect. So pretty much all of these, like before, I guess this episode, all of the, depending on what version you're playing, I think all of the random encounters in the world are either training dummies or orcs. So what I kind of did was I sort of, if we go into route encounters, I was kind of playing with ideas on like which, this is a very rough draft, of where to put like certain enemies. So I went through my database right here of all my enemies that I have, which is kind of half baked. But I was doing some like just writing down some notes, have some images of like where I think I want each of the enemies to kind of go. So I took this and I converted it into route encounters. So I was just kind of picking out like, okay, so I want certain creatures to be on this route. So like I have all the route names here. So I was kind of organizing that a bit, and then I implemented it. So on each route, so if we go to, I guess like Giant's Gorge, and we go check out what enemies we've got in here, we've got just a bunch of fire giants. Oof, sorry. And so in here, fire giants, I call them red giants. I need to call them fire giants and ice giants. So I have like some kind of semblance of stats. I also organized the skills a little bit nicer. It's still, again, not perfect, but we're chipping away at the big block of marble. So before, I think all the skills were kind of like all in a cluster, with the fighter skills, the ranger skills. So I spread them out, which, it was just a bunch of spaghetti code, I guess. And now it's, I guess, less spaghetti, but still kind of spaghetti code. So at least it's a little bit organized. We got the fighter skills, we got the ranger skills, the mage, the tank, rogue, support, and then we've got just basic crush abilities, basic slash abilities, and these kind of scale 1 through 6 based on kind of with the items. So like as you can see, this isn't really as spread out as the other page, so it's still a bit kind of spaghetti and hard to look at. But I had 6 tiers of weapons, so I had 6 tiers of skills, and this can kind of help, I guess, my opinions in my head that may not be rooted anywhere just help balance. If you have like 6 different tiers of weapons, 6 different tiers of skills, you can kind of start crafting the enemy's attack and defense based off just their generic stats, or kind of give them crush one instead of crush three if they're too strong, or crush three instead of crush one if they're too weak. So that kind of stuff. I feel like this doesn't really make sense when I'm talking about it, but it makes sense in my head. Um, so I don't know, but yeah, pretty much we're just trying to kind of organize the enemies, trying to organize the skills, we're trying to organize, I guess, just all the spaghetti we've got. I think next on the agenda is these items. So I have these like altar keys. I've got some potion spots. Um, but all my like materials and stuff, they don't really start until like in the 300s or 400s depending on, and there's these gaps, and all the ore is kind of interwoven. So I've got copper ore and tin ore up here, but then I've got like all the mithril ore and adamant and rune ore down here. So I imagine that when you're looking through your items, it's just going to be super messy. And if you try to organize it, if I don't even know if I have an organize button, but if you try to organize it, it will probably organize it based off ID number. So it won't even organize it in an effective way. So I'll have to go through all this and, kind of try to systemize it, especially as I'm kind of, I created all these enemies that they don't really have drops yet, but I'm going to have to try to create unique drops for them. And so once I start creating unique drops for them, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to just continue down this path of making random stuff in random spots. So I'll have to kind of like, now that I have a good idea of how many enemies I'm using, it might be good to kind of help forecast like how many monster drops I'll need in general, and then um, you know what I'm trying to say. Um, but yeah, that's something on the horizon that I want to do. I think that's pretty much it for this update video. I guess just in general life updates that are going on. It's currently the end of September. We went to go see Hamilton in concert this past weekend, which was a lot of fun. It was cool to see that. But yeah, I think we're going to be doing some Oktoberfests. I'm going to be taking like a cocktail class in a week. It was a gift for my birthday coming up, which is really awesome. My mother-in-law gave that to me, so that's really cool. Going out to, I think, lunch with my parents on my actual birthday is going to be awesome as well. Um, but yeah, we did see Midsummer yesterday. I didn't really care that much about that movie. It was okay, but yeah, I had a lot of criticisms about it, but I think the aesthetic was pretty cool about it at least, and the idea of it being kind of like this Scandinavian kind of aesthetic without it being um, like about Vikings, I thought was pretty interesting. Um, Today I'm just kind of doing work and making game and all that stuff, but I feel like this was kind of a short video, so I felt like giving kind of a little bit of a life update. But yeah, that's everything going on. Stay tuned for future ones, I guess. Have a good one. Bye bye.